say starting about 2000, we launched a regional initiative called Eastern Shore 2010, which was trying to get our region to agree to some goals on land use to be achieved before 2010. And one of those goals was to concentrate not 80% of new growth in rural areas, but to concentrate a minimum of 80% of new growth into our towns. And lo and behold, not just since 2000, but our counties have been making great strides, and so have our towns. But today, well, actually a few years ago, we were getting very close to a regional average of about 80% of new growth going into towns. Now it's sloughed off a little bit, mostly because town growth has slowed. But it is still the message over the 20-year history of Eastern Shore Land Conservancy is that growth management is working. It's not pretty, it's not always smooth, but in fits and starts, we are getting more growth in and around our towns where we want it. And I think, climate change, the price of fuel, local government finances, particularly road infrastructure, for all of those reasons, I think it will continue to push, the natural dynamics will be to push growth towards towns. But what happens when we're successful with that, when we're getting most of our growth in and around our towns? I mean, do we want our towns to be sort of wastelands of density depositories? We're just going to pack everybody in. All the scientists remember the rats in a cage analysis where you can't put so many people in there, they start eating each other. Well, I don't think that happens, but I think the perception is out there. But more importantly, we have to look at our towns as a real asset for the future, not as a density dumping grounds, but as an attraction for growth. And really that's what's led Eastern Shore Land Conservancy to focus on towns. So with the launch of the Center for Towns, we're hoping to target our planning and our land conservation programs to be directly in service to towns. And that's not just with planning education work like this conference this weekend or the workshops that Jake runs on Place Matters and the design projects we're doing on planning, but also the land conservation side. And we're doing lots of parks in and around our towns, and we hope to be stimulating more walking trails, pedestrian access, both in our towns and between our towns. So that's part of our long-term vision that we want to deliver with the Center for Towns. So that's all I really have to say.